And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success Morning Coffee. It is Thursday. It's Thursday the 21st. It's my dad's birthday. December is one of those days where birthdays are one of those months where birthdays are abundant. And I kind of think that might be, what's up, Nikki, over in YouTube. If you guys are not following on YouTube, head on over and subscribe. Today, I think we're 12 away. We're at 1288 or 2,188 subscribers on YouTube. What is up, Robert Woody? Go on and head over to YouTube. Subscribe, Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley. That link is in the bio on TikTok if you're hanging out on TikTok and everywhere else that you follow me. Gabrielle, welcome to TikTok. Thanks for hanging out. Morning coffee. You know, this is something that we've been doing now. Let's see, what does Buzzsprout say? I posted a story. I should post it over on TikTok too. This is 32 episodes. Had a little, they send me a little thing. You know, you get them all the time. Like, it's the end of the year. Here's where we're at. Gosh, I don't know what's going on with my voice. I do know what's going on with my voice, and it's annoying me. But they send over a little thing, and it tells you, oh, something went wrong. That's what it tells you. Where's my story? Let's see. Here it is. All right. 21% growth, 6,731 downloads, 24 countries, 79 episodes, 2,300 minutes. That is where the podcast has been. Podcast part. We do the audio. We do the video. We do it all. We do it on Facebook. We do it on Instagram. It goes all over the place. And when I say we, I was thinking about it. I'm like, why am I saying we? Because it's me, but it's not just me. There's a team. So thank you. Nikki is one of my teammates. She writes all the descriptions for the shorts and the interviews when I do them. And I haven't done one in a while. I have one that I'm going to release in January. So, and then I had one I was supposed to do yesterday. The guy rescheduled, and then I got another one coming. So we've got about 3 interviews on deck for next year already. Lots of people always reach out and ask to be on the show. I actually have 2 other ones too. A lot of people ask to be on the show. And they're weird asks, you know, like someone, I think I talked about it the other day. Someone asked me to be on, and they're like, oh, great job. You're almost to 200 episodes. And it's like, bullshit. I'm almost to 300 episodes. So are you really paying attention, or do you just want to be on my platform and let me help you push you out? And then you get that email and you get like 9 other ones. Hey, just following up, just checking in. Want to see if you're interested. And it's like, if I'm interested, I would have responded the first time. I see them. I don't ignore my emails. It's like, find a reason to help me, you know, do that. We've got a couple more subscribers. It's funny, yesterday we got one. We got a couple the day before. I'm going to thank them, but it's funny because I don't know how it works with the subscribers. See, Bella, what's happening over in Alaska. It shows that I have subscribers up there. It says I have 1 of 10, which I know is Nikki because it always is. But then it also shows that I had other people who subscribed too, but then they're not showing. So like if someone subscribes on TikTok, it hops up and it says that there's another subscriber, and then the next day it disappears. So I kind of wonder if that's a TikTok problem or if that is a new thing that I don't know about. But anyway, anyone ever feel like saying, but I digress? I mean, a lot of people say that. I am happy to do this. I am happy for people to, you know, kind of whether they need it or not. You never know who you're going to scroll across and, see and get some information that you might need to hear today, yesterday, whatever. So you can always go back to the podcast, go listen to them. If you go to the YouTube, every one of these is live right now. I need to be better about doing some SEO on them, but I also think it's a lot. So I'm just going to run them and we'll see. We'll see what happens. Today, when I woke up, I was thinking about some stuff, and I'm going back and forth. Like I'm having these things that in my personal life that require patience, and that's, I think a lot of us have a problem with patience, and I definitely am that person. And when I say a problem with patience, and I'm talking about like being able to wait and being able to do things in time, not you're a patient at a hospital, patience. I mentioned a couple days ago that I read Crushing It by Gary Vee. He's one of those people who got me on social media, got me pushing myself, got me working harder on social media. Really the reason why I did a podcast. Brian Sales in the house. I don't have my Warriors Collection cup right now, but I got my Warriors Collection coffee. Good stuff. Thin Blue Line. Oh, by the way, you could use hashtag SWC at warriorscollectionbrand.com and get 15% off of your coffee. Shameless plug when my friends pop in. But yeah, waiting, being patient. Brian knows a lot about being patient, and it's paying off for him. I love that. But this is the thing, like the patience situation is that a lot of times we want things to happen on our timing, and it's not going to happen on our timing. It's going to happen in the time that it's supposed to. It's going to happen in God's timing. It's going to happen in your timing. Or in someone else's timing, whether it's supposed to happen or not. And part of that is doing the work. If you think that it's just going to happen on its own, you're wrong. It's not going to happen on its own. It's not going to happen on its own, and you have to be willing to do it. So remember that, okay? Some of these quotes, I pulled up some quotes on being patient because I have to remind myself to be patient. I've thought about a lot of things, like I've thought about being patient and growing my following on social media with the YouTube, like we were talking about, 12 away for 2,200. It grows very slowly. I've been on Instagram for a very long time. I think I'm at like 2280 or something like that. I thought I'd be at 10,000 by now. Boy, there goes the puberty voice crack. Got a lot of sinus junk going on today. I don't know why. It's kind of annoying. But you start to think about that, about those things like following, growing this, growing that. TikTok's been at 22.9 for a month now, and it hasn't been, I thought, oh shit, I'll be at 50,000 by now. You know, there's all these milestones that they set for you to get to. And slowly but surely you're getting there. But you have to be willing to just hold on, hang tight, keep doing what you're doing if you know what you're doing is right. And this morning coffee thing, you know, I started doing this and I started working through it and I started continuing to do it. All right, Gabriella, thanks for hanging out. Sorry, reading comments on TikTok, reading comments on YouTube. People got to work. But I appreciate you guys. It's okay. I figured it out. It's all good. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. And that's kind of what this is about. This is a little morning show. At some point, I want to be able to have like people either come in or talk in or call in or whatever. But I got to keep it to like 30 minutes because that's how it fits in the situation. So let's talk about patience a little bit. We'll go through some of these quotes and kind of talk about how they relate to your situation, my situation. Our patience will achieve more than our force. Okay, that's by Edmund Burke. Don't know who that is, but I'm looking at the comment and it is a good one, or the quote, and it's a good one. A lot of times when you go to force something to happen, like you're just like, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. You can screw things up, right? The hard part is that what I just said before was like, you got to do the work. So there's a difference between being forceful and there's a difference between being coordinated and tactful in how you're doing it, right? So you have to be willing to do it the right way. The only time you fail is when you quit trying, right? But sometimes you got to sit back and think about it instead of just like going as hard as you can, doing everything you possibly can, because you're going to fail more times than you are going to succeed. And failure is one of those things that, again, we've talked about, something that you have to be willing to accept, but know that there is another way. So sometimes it's a way to take a step back. I failed at this. Let's take a step back. Let's take a bigger look at the bigger picture. Let's talk about the end goal, and then think about how the things that we are doing affect the way that we're going to reach that end goal. So a lot of times you can't just force things to happen. You have to be willing to adjust, right? The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. Leo Tolstoy. Patience and time. I think those go hand in hand if you really think about it. It sometimes, like in the time, it's going to happen, but in the time that you want it to happen. It goes along with the first quote of forcing it. It's going to take some more time. Sometimes you get to a point where you're like really over it and it's not working. And I'll put deadlines on things. I'll put, and I feel like it's a reasoning. What is up, Melinda, over on TikTok? Good to see you. I feel like there's reasoning behind that. Okay. Like, I thought a lot about, like, when we put the house on the market, I'm sitting there going, all right, this one's going to be the one. They're going to buy it. This one's going to be the one. They're going to buy it. This one's going to be the one. They're going to buy it. And over again, I kept in the back of my mind, well, there's got to be some reason why it's not selling quick. There's got to be this. There's got to be that. And then when my wife and I sat back and we kind of dissected the big picture, we realized that it wasn't as bad as what we thought. It just came at a bad time. And we needed to think about it. And could we make it work? And what could we sacrifice? And how could we do it? So I took that as this is something that patience isn't worth, because we really want it. And I don't want to be patient and wait for someone to buy it if I know that we can make it happen. Okay. So sometimes you have to take those reasoning and think about it. If it's really meant to happen, it's going to happen. And that's the way that I looked at that. Let's see here. I want to find another one that just, like, it's funny when I read these, I sit there and I look at them and I'm like, is this how does this affect me? What does it make me think? And reading through them, learning patience can be a difficult experience, but once you've conquered it, you will find life is easier. Agree, Brian. Agree with that. Definitely, I think that things are revealed to you through that, through prayer and things like that. And that's where I went. You know, that's where it was. It was like I prayed about it. I thought about it. I've over and over again, just like whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen. You're going to show me, and we're going to make it work. Learning patience can be a difficult experience, but once you've conquered it, you will find life is easier. Yesterday, I posted on TikTok about my daughter, and I've talked to you guys about this a few times. Things that are tough. You know, at 43, I think about things a lot easier, but it took me a while. Like 40 years or 3 years ago, someone got on here and jammed a bad comment at me. I would just like kind of it would take it personal. You know, someone said something to me like, "Oh, you're stupid. You're never going to make it." Another, you know, like I've seen a couple times. Scroll on TikTok. Someone's like, "Oh, another white guy trying to be a podcaster," or, you know, everyone's got a podcast, or, you know, like they always try to throw out these things that you shouldn't do it or whatever. Well, the problem is that they're scared to do it anyway. But my daughter has this problem with this kid at school. And the kid is constantly picking on her. And I flash back to like how I would have handled it and how I would handle it now when I was a kid. And my daughter is very sweet. You know, she's a nice kid. She likes everyone. She just wants to be friends with people. She wants to play with people. She wants to hang out with people. She wants to please everyone. And she just can't understand why this kid is picking on her. And it's over and over again. She's getting picked on. Well, then she gets picked on so much, she's like, well, what can I do to stop this kid from picking on me? You know, and the kid is doing things like cussing and swearing at her and telling her, like, we got her a pair of shoes the other day, which it's the worst thing I ever did. I'm like, there's no way. I'm a shoe guy, right? Like, so I walk into my closet and there's a bunch of shoes I've acquired over the years. And She wanted a pair of Nike Air Force Ones, but they were white. And I'm like, no freaking way are you getting white Air Force Ones. You get those, they're going to be dirty all day, every day. You're a little kid, you're running around, you're playing recess and all that stuff. They're going to be filthy. Shoes are expensive. I'm not getting you those. And we went rounds and rounds, and lo and behold, between her and her mother, she won. And she got the Air Force Ones. I said, well, the caveat of this is that you are going to clean those shoes every single day when you get home. And anyway, she goes to school, and this kid is telling her he's got the same exact shoes on, but a different color. And he's telling her that her shoes look like they came from Walmart, which, I mean, who cares if you buy your shoes from Walmart? But that, like, he's basically trying to tell her that her shoes are cheap and not as good as his, and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. She comes home all upset. The guy's making fun of her. She doesn't know what to say. And I'm just like, you know what? And this is me as a 43-year-old adult saying, ignore him. Why do you talk to him? Why do you care? And like, I go through the, do you like him? Do you want him to be, she's 10, right? And I'm like, do you really like him? Do you want to be your boyfriend? What do you want to be? Well, then I told on him. And then he says this and he says that and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, listen, it's real simple. And it's easy to say because ignoring someone is typically not easy when you get in your feels and you want to like defend yourself about what someone says to you. Like if they're saying, oh, you're, and I don't take that as an insult. Your shoes are from Walmart, but like, I get what the kid's trying to do. He's trying to piss her off and tell her that, like she's cheap or whatever. And that's just stupid. But she's letting it bother her. And I'm like, listen, and this is what I told her yesterday. I'm like, go to school, ignore the guy. Don't even talk to him. Don't tattle on him. Don't do nothing. Let your teacher take care of it and be the best you can be no matter what. And I asked her, it's funny, I asked her how her day went yesterday, and she wouldn't ignore the kid. So it's kind of like we're creating this situation that we don't need to have, but I probably would have done the same thing when I was her age. Beyond. But learning that patience to be able to just like ignore that, it's not something that comes easy. Let's see. A couple more here, and then we'll probably roll out. Here's one that's a good one because it is all about attitude, okay? A lot of times with the things that we do, an attitude can really dictate how we feel about the situation, okay? So patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting, okay? Because if we get in that bad attitude, if we get in our feels about the situation, it can be detrimental to what the goal is in the end, right? Not being able to be patient and then having a bad attitude about it not happening in your time can make you quit. And so you have to think and this is another thing that I've talked about before. What is the lesson? Because there is always a lesson in every failure. And that lesson could be, well, maybe I need to not do, it's like a golf swing, okay? Think about golf, okay? If you're not a golfer. But this is how my brain works. I think in metaphors, I think in reasoning, I think in stories of how it would work, okay? So in a golf swing is like crazy. When you're a PE teacher, because I was, one of the hardest skills to teach a kid is to how to do something with a long-handled implement, okay? Long-handled implement. Baseball bat, golf club, tennis racket. Something that extends your body, makes your arms longer, makes whatever you're using, makes it more difficult to use. Kids don't have very good motor skills. I watch my son, try to pick something up and like how they go down and they pick it up and they don't have the fine motor skills yet to just pick it up. Like he can't, I'm trying to think of what he can do. He's pretty good like with a fork, like he can stick the thing with the fork and put it in his mouth like his food when he's eating. But make the fork longer. And figure that out with yourself. Make something longer. Then you have to try to manipulate it even more. When I'm measuring windows that are up high, sometimes I'll take my tape measure and I'll run it up, and it's like trying to get it where it is, and then it'll fold over and over again. So you have to be a little bit more controlled with it. Well, with a golf swing, your wrists can, and I'm showing my wrist up in the screen, but your wrist can throw off a golf swing pretty easy. And you get instant feedback. If you know how to read the feedback, you know what you did wrong, right? So you could get pretty upset about it. But if you're going to the driving range and your club face is supposed to be straight when you hit the golf ball, and that'll make the ball go straight typically, right? Well, if you get lazy and you come through swinging as hard as you can, a lot of times that club face will tilt this way. And if it tilts that way, you're going to slice the ball. It's going to go to the right. You swing too hard and you swing your hands through, it's going to go to the left. So you have to basically hit that ball perfect, but the feedback is always in the result of the swing, right? So you could get upset every time that happens, or you can think about the lesson that you learned, the micro little lesson. All right, I sliced it, it went to the right. I did not get my hands through the ball fast enough so that it would go straight. I hooked it, it went left. I got my hands too fast through there. So you make those adjustments over and over again, but there's a lesson there, right? It's like, okay, what's the lesson? Hands are too far open. Hands are too far closed. And that is one of those things that like you have to make the adjustment. Okay. Sometimes it's as easy as like taking a deep breath. Like you want this feeling to go away. I had a friend whose friend passed away, and I can't like completely understand sometimes what people are like. You don't know what other people are thinking, what other people are going through, and how it affects you mentally. But the first thing I always think about is taking a deep breath. Okay, because when we are freaking out, when we are, no matter what it is, someone could have passed away. You could be playing a game of golf and you hooked one that, lost the round for you if there was money on the line or something like that. I don't know. Some people gamble or whatever, but the first thing you do is get red, get mad, forget to breathe, and then you can't think correctly. So I always think about that. Take a big, deep breath. That's the first tool that you can use when you're kind of freaking out. And I need to tell myself that sometimes too. Like when I get mad at something, you can't think correctly. So take a deep breath. 1 minute of your patience is worth 10 years of peace is what this next one says. It's a Greek proverb. And that's what I'm just thinking about when I said that. So a minute of patience when you're upset about something or in your feels about something and you can't control it, stop and take a minute to breathe and then think again. Because that will be very, very helpful in making the correct decision. Okay. Oh, we'll see if we can find one more and then we're going to call it. Oh, I like this one. This is by a former president of the United States. And I say the United States as I see Lynette hopping in from Canada. I kind of wonder if the Canadians know our history. I mean, I'm sure they know a little bit of it, but like they spend more time probably on their history. So they probably have no who John Quincy Adams is. Maybe they do, but he's a president. He's a president. I can't remember what number he was, but he was a president of the United States. Patience and perseverance have a magical effect before which difficulties disappear and obstacles vanish. Okay. Hand in hand, we talked about perseverance, like not being able to quit or not quitting when something goes wrong or it doesn't happen in the time that you want it to happen. Patience and perseverance go hand in hand when reaching goals, okay? It's difficult sometimes to have patience, as we've been talking, but perseverance will be something that, like, over time, no matter what, it goes hand in hand with patience. Like, if you're trying to reach something, and like, as I was saying before, if something didn't happen or it may take longer, as my little brother told me the other day, Rome isn't built in a night, wasn't built in a day, but they spend all that time. The idea behind that is they spend all that time doing it. They basically persevered over a long amount of time to build Rome, right? So remember that perseverance is something that is very important. So you have those goals, you have those dreams, you have those desires. Go out there and chase them today. Have patience to understand that it's not going to happen the first try. It may, but typically does not. It's not going to stop. It's not going to go anywhere. But you need to continue to persevere through it, and it will take some patience. Okay? I enjoy these talks. We're going to have them more and more and more. Obviously, this will be 33 morning coffees, along with almost hitting, like I said, we'll hit 300 by pretty quickly in the beginning of the new year. All right. That's it. Thanks to Nikki, Patreon subscriber. Vanna Woods is a subscriber. Twisted Tea is a subscriber. Michelle is a subscriber, although it's not showing on TikTok right now, and I have no idea why, unless there's a new type of subscriber thing. Nikki, thanks for supporting on Patreon. Appreciate all you do. Let's go have a good day. We'll have one more morning coffee. I don't think we're going to do it on Christmas Day because you know what? That's family time. So we'll have 4 shows next week. We'll get through this week. Go get them today. Till next time, I challenge you to find the shape of your success.